So this is the Nokia e70, one of the latest in Nokia's E-series, designed for businesses, communicators. At first glance it looks like a normal Series 60 candy bar smartphone, but the keyboard opens out and you'll see in a moment it becomes a full communicator. But before I demonstrate that, I do need to show you one technical detail. This is Taskman, a third-party utility, and it's showing me a figure here. This is the amount of RAM, just over 20 megabytes of RAM. This is the most important statistic on a smartphone. It's a measure of how many programs you can run at once, and in real terms how fast the computer is in terms of switching between programs, starting other ones, and it determines how soon you start hitting limits as to what you can accomplish on the device. Now watch closely as I take the unique selling point of the E70, the main numeric keypad, swivelling up. It locks into position on the other side of the screen. Now before I examine the keyboard, let's look at this top figure again. It's now at 14 megabytes. We've just lost 6 megabytes of RAM. That's around 30% of all the available memory for running programs has just been lost simply from switching to portrait to landscape mode. And you don't get it back again. If you switch back to portrait, it stays at 14 or thereabouts. In fact, it just lost another megabyte while we've been watching. To have a RAM leak of this magnitude is horrendous on a smartphone. It's clearly a bug in this particular version of the firmware for the E70, so don't take it as an outright condemnation of the device, but do make sure that if you get one, you get a fixed version of the firmware. Away from that, the keyboard's lovely. You can see it here in the video. There's a nice key travel. There's even a row of numeric keys along the top, and you'll have no trouble in banging out 20 to 25 words a minute on this keyboard. The only real hassle, I guess, is having your eyes, having to switch left, right, trying to spot the keys you want to hit. Once you get to know where they are, and if you're a reasonable touch typist, or in this case a thumb touch typist, I think you'll be okay. But it can get rather tiring at first while you're learning to adapt. Interestingly, all these Series 60 applications, Series 60 3rd edition here, they work fine in landscape mode and with this different screen resolution. This is 352 by 416 pixels, which is great for seeing images and videos, by the way. It also makes the text on screen very smooth indeed. So all the programs work nicely at this resolution and this ratio. So for example, we can go into messaging and we might be banging out a new email message to someone or a new text message, and we might have started in portrait mode and think, oh, I'm going to need to type 200 words on this message. So we open up the keyboard and type away, and the context is completely preserved. You literally carry on what you're doing with a new text input method in place. So email is one obvious use for the E70. Another is working with Office documents, and in the Office folder, again this is Series 60 3rd edition, there's the document sheet and presentation, Symbian's own native Office suite, which hasn't been worked on much in the last 3 or 4 years, in the sense that it hasn't appeared on many devices, but they've really put some effort into it for Series 60 3rd edition. It appeared first on the E61 and now here on the E70, and presumably all other E-series devices. There's also this screen export utility for sending data to Bluetooth projectors, and you can print information to Bluetooth printers as well. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, as they say, and in the media folder you'll find you can play your AAC, your WMA, your MP3 music quite happily, playing back through a stereo headset. Notice that the E70 comes with a mono headset, assuming it's just for business use, so if you are going to listen to music you'll want to spend £10 or so on the appropriate stereo headset. Real players there, as always, for playing back MPEG-4 and 3GP video clips. This works very well. In conjunction, what I have to say, with the camera on the back. This is the only E-series device to come with a camera, and it's a bit of a cracker. It's the same hardware, as near as I can tell, as the N70, which I've been raving about for several smartphone shows, producing really quite high quality and nicely coloured 2 megapixel images and near VHS quality video recording. So to have that in a business device is very nice to have indeed. The services, which is the Nokia's original or WAP web browser for WAP pages and HTML. But back on the main screen, there's their own next generation web browser, which we've featured before as well, with page overviews, visual history, and it does a pretty good job of rendering web pages, especially as you can use it as well in landscape mode. And with the higher resolution screen in terms of pixels, you can fit quite a lot on the screen. On the right hand side is an infrared port. It's nice to see infrared making a real comeback on these series devices. On the left is a voice recording button, and one press starts it recording, which is a nice touch. You don't have to worry about what mode it's in, you simply hit the button and start talking. The Nokia e70 then, a slightly clunky machine in terms of styling, but it's very functional. I love the form factor, I love the keyboard despite the split layout. And once they can fix the problems with RAM and the fact that you lose so much of it when switching into landscape, I think this device is going to be something of a winner. One last thing to mention is the fact that it's got Wi-Fi, so in addition to web browsing via Wi-Fi, you've also got potential applications like voice over IP, which may well be important in businesses where you can make phone calls through the company's internet network. Lots of potential. Few minor niggles, the Nokia e70, ladies and gentlemen.